Imagine seeing a long-standing injustice unfold before your eyes, with an entire people group suffering from centuries of tyranny and discrimination. This is the situation that the Indigenous people of Victoria, Australia face. Their current rate of overrepresentation in the criminal justice and child protection systems is a source of great shame for the government. Today, thanks in large part to the Victorian government's commitment to address racism and injustice, we can begin to provide a voice to the voiceless to tell the truth, confront the oppression, and make a lasting change. In this video, we take a look at the Yurok Justice Commission, a truth-telling inquiry dedicated to addressing the overrepresentation of First Nations people in child protection and criminal justice systems throughout the country. The recent data from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare paints a grim picture. First Nations children are 22 times more likely than non-Indigenous children to be in out-of-home care, 9 times more likely to have harm substantiated, and the number of Indigenous people in prisons has increased by 148% in the past decade. It's clear that since June 2020, the Victorian government has been taking steps to address this issue, and the Premier expressed his great shame regarding this situation in a letter to the chair of the Yurok Justice Commission, Eleanor Burke. The government acknowledged the injustices that had caused the overrepresentation, and has taken steps to empower Aboriginal-controlled organizations to investigate child protection cases. In addition, legislation introduced by the Victorian government has given more power to Aboriginal-controlled organizations to connect families with support before a court order is made, providing more hope for the Indigenous people of Victoria. The inquiry into the Yurok Justice Commission will cover a vast array of topics and issues to understand why many Indigenous peoples suffer from this systemic injustice. As we look ahead, we must never forget the experiences of Indigenous people in Victoria and Australia, and do our part in addressing the racism and injustice to provide a much-needed voice to the voiceless. This is the mission of the Yurok Justice Commission, a truth-telling inquiry that is dedicated to providing a lasting change in an area of the world where people are still dealing with centuries of discrimination. It's time to provide hope, support, and understanding to the Indigenous people of Australia, and create a future of understanding and justice.